Hey folks, Nick here from another BookTube channel, and today I've decided to talk about Neil Gaiman. This is coming from the fact that Sandman Season 2 premieres on Netflix pretty soon, and given all that has recently surfaced about Gaiman in the past year, I needed to take some time to decide for myself if I was going to watch it or not. And in general, how do I want to engage with Gaiman's content moving forward, if at all? So this is going to be a bit of a ramble. I do have a script that I'm reading from and referring to, but the script itself was written as a ramble as well, where I explain my thought process on this matter. And the reason I wanted a script is because this is a very sensitive subject. I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything out that I specifically wanted to say. And when I freestyle, I do tend to forget things. So I just wanted to organize my thoughts before hitting record. I'm not going to go too deeply into the accusations against Gaiman. You could all find that for yourself online. It's well documented at this point. But a high-level overview, if you are truly completely unaware, is that Neil Gaiman, creator of Sandman and author of books like American Gods and Ocean at the End of the Lane, and children's books like Coraline and The Graveyard Book, has been accused of sexual assault and sex trafficking by multiple women. The allegations originate from encounters that happened decades ago, with the victims only coming forward recently. Gaiman has denied any wrongdoing outright, saying that he never forced non-consensual sex on anyone, though he does admit that some of the events described did happen, but they are mixed in with a bunch of stuff that did not happen. He also admits to being sexually available, but emotionally unavailable, particularly at that time, which he feels may have contributed to the women feeling dismissed and taken advantage of. So those are the quote-unquote facts as they have been reported. So now let's get into my completely subjective thoughts on how I plan to move forward from here. I want to emphasize that these are my thoughts and my opinions about how I am going to move forward. I am not telling you how you should feel moving forward or what you should do moving forward. You are an individual capable of complex thought, and you can do whatever you want. You do not need to agree with everything or anything that I say. You do you. This is what I plan on doing and how I got to that conclusion. First things first, who do I believe? What do I actually think about the case at hand? Do I believe the victims making the accusations, or do I believe Neil Gaiman? I am going to repeat something here that I first mentioned in my Ed Piskor Memoriam video from last year, and it's not going to be a very popular opinion. I do not believe anyone that I don't know personally. When it comes to taking people at their word, if I don't know you, then I do not believe you implicitly. This is not relevant to just all things, of course, because if I ever go see a doctor for the first time and the doctor tells me that I have a certain condition or something that's wrong, I'm going to believe the doctor because they've studied this thing that they're telling me that I have, and you should believe doctors and you should believe scientists. Things like that are based in fact that is studyable and observable. I believe that. I believe witness testimony and expert analysis on that stuff. But when it comes to he said, she said, especially really high stakes stuff like this, I don't believe you unless I know you. And even then, I only believe you if I know you to be a trustworthy source. People lie constantly, all the time. They lie in person, they lie on the internet, they lie to their friends and their family. People lie about being innocent. And as horrible as it is, people also lie about being victims. So I always take the stance in these situations of, unless you are one of the parties involved, unless you know personally one of the parties involved, or you are part of the legal process investigating the parties, your opinion and my opinion on guilt versus innocence does not matter. It is irrelevant. I do not believe Neil Gaiman is innocent or guilty. I don't know. That is the only answer. I am not part of this, and therefore I cannot and should not be condemning or exonerating a man and his whole reputation and his whole livelihood based on words from people that I do not know, whether those are Gaiman's words or his accusers. But the uncertainty on its own is enough to make me think twice. The seed of doubt has been planted, and it cannot be removed unless it's revealed by the accusers to be a complete hoax. And so I have to address, is it within my own moral and ethical compass to continue to enjoy Neil Gaiman's work? And to clarify this up front, I am a huge fan of pretty much everything Gaiman has done. I own almost all of his books. I own every Sandman graphic novel. I have multiple signed items from him, and I've done videos about him on this channel. So how does that change, if at all? Well, I think we have to talk about the old cliche of separating art from the artist. I have always believed in separating art from the artist whenever possible, whenever you can. And there are certain instances where you might not be able to do that. It is a personal, subjective experience, whether you will be able to do that or not. And I also don't think that separating art from the artist as a quote, as a cliche, is doesn't explain it well enough, because that statement does need to be broken into two pieces: enjoying the artist's work and supporting the artist, because those are two distinct actions and they are not always consistent. And to give just a really quick summary of what the difference between those two things is, enjoying an artist's work is a private matter, whereas supporting an artist's work is a bit more public. I'm at a point where I don't think I can stop enjoying Gaiman's work, because I already have been enjoying it for much of my life. Sandman is one of the best comic books ever written, and that doesn't change just because Neil Gaiman sucks. His writing, which I've always loved for being this magical blend of joy and heartbreak and whimsy and madness and humor, still hits all of my soft spots. It sings to me, and it's not going to stop doing that. The beauty that he has put out into the world is still there to enjoy and to relate to and to be healed by if you take his name out of the equation. I can't pretend that I no longer enjoy these things, which have been so meaningful to me for so long. Now, other people might not be able to do that anymore. The very knowledge about what he may or may not have done may have soured even his words to them, to you. And if that's happened, that's fine. But for me, I am able to create that separation and just say, this is a piece of work. It is not a man. And so it's okay to enjoy it. But what if Neil Gaiman, against all odds, released a new book this year? Hypothetically, of course. I personally think his career is over because of this for the rest of his life. But if that were to happen, I would not purchase that book just in case I would be putting money in the pocket of a monster. And that's my decision. It doesn't have to be yours. All of the books that I've already purchased, that money has exchanged hands. Those books are already here. I'm not going to get rid of them. It can't be undone. I can't get a refund at this point. I'm not getting rid of those books. I'm just not going to buy any new editions of them or any new releases of his. And as for this channel, beyond this video right here, I will no longer be discussing Neil Gaiman content in any capacity. Not only no book reviews, but even if I do reread one of his books, I won't include it in my monthly wrap-up video. Because coming onto a public forum like YouTube and saying that I read his book could be seen as an endorsement and encouraging you to go out and buy it yourself, which defeats the purpose of this. I also forgot to address what am I going to do with videos on my channel that I've already published about Neil Gaiman. I went through my history, and I've actually only ever done one video that was specifically about only him, and it was a look at this like convention program that like other artists did work for, where they made comics about their experiences with Neil Gaiman. I'm gonna leave that up because that is not a mass-produced book. It's only available on the secondary market. If you choose to purchase that, again, it doesn't put money in Neil Gaiman's pocket. Yeah. As for the other videos where he's mentioned, I'm going to leave those up as well because he's just a small section of that video. The rest of the video is still fine. I don't really personally see an issue keeping those up. Now, you may be saying, Nick, that's not good enough. Even if you never talk about Gaiman's work on the channel, the fact that you're still reading him means that you support him. And to that I say, you are wrong. You forget that the internet is not real life. Beyond the confines of whatever box you are watching this video on, such a thing as privacy does still exist. And if I choose to sit in my own home and read Sandman comics that I already own and tell nobody else about it, there's not a damn thing wrong with that. And if that doesn't align with your own morals and ethics, so be it. You are welcome to that. The YouTuber Princess Weeks recently posted a video about J.K. Rowling and how it's impossible to separate Rowling from Harry Potter. It was an excellent video, very well researched, very well spoken, and she mentions there that she still loves Harry Potter. She taught a class, she helped teach a class on it at her college. She has Harry Potter merchandise that she had previously purchased from before 2018 when Rowling revealed herself to be a absolutely dog shit person. But new Harry Potter content and things she does not pay for. Going to see the Broadway show or paying for the video game or going to the theme parks directly puts money into Rowling's pocket. And Rowling has told everyone publicly, openly, proudly that she uses her money to try to destroy trans people. So that's what I mean by supporting someone being a public matter. Because when you're putting money in their pockets, it gets out there. It is something that cannot be avoided. It affects the world at large. But just enjoying Harry Potter, at a personal level, enjoying Sandman and not getting anybody else involved, that doesn't hurt anybody. It just doesn't. And to be clear, I don't care about Harry Potter at all. I never read the books. I think I saw a couple of the movies. I didn't care about them either. That doesn't matter to me. I hate J.K. Rowling as a person, and I never need to get into Harry Potter now, and that's wonderful. But for Gaiman, this is relevant. I cannot pretend that I never enjoyed his work. I cannot go back in time and change that. It's integral to me. I love it. I love his work, and I cannot stop that. But I'm not going to tell you that you have to love it as well. You can ignore it completely, and that is totally fine. And this brings me to the question at the top of the video, which is, will I be watching Sandman Season 2? This was a bit of a tricky one, because after I thought all of those thoughts that I just rambled at you, I had to do some additional research. I had to look into how Netflix handles their money. And from what I could find, Netflix has already paid the production of Sandman and everyone involved its fee for the rights to the show. And as far as I know, again, from what I could find, Netflix does not pay residuals or additional payouts based on streaming views. Therefore, Neil Gaiman has already pocketed whatever money that the streaming of the show would generate for him. And so I feel comfortable watching the new season. It's not like my view adds an extra penny to Gaiman's bank account. He's already gotten everything from the streaming of it. Now, in terms of official merch for the show, and as much as it pains me to say it, like physical media, I would have previously loved to get seasons 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I will not be partaking in that, and I'm such like a champion for physical media. I love it, but I cannot do it because I can't be certain that Gaiman doesn't benefit from it directly. Sorry, another reason I think it's okay to enjoy the show and watch the new season is because it's already been announced that the show is not continuing. Season 2 is the final season, so my viewership won't inspire a season 3, which would then actually put more money in Gaiman's pocket. So it ends with 2, money's exchanged hands already, just watch the show. So I forgot to address, while doing the initial filming, what happens after Neil Gaiman is dead? Is it then okay to purchase his work again? And I think, yeah. I mean, he's dead. He can no longer personally benefit from it. I guess his estate can, but I am also of the belief that, you know, the sins of the father should not be visited upon the child. His kids didn't do nothing wrong, at least as far as I know. I think one of them is like 8 years old right now. So yeah, I think once Neil Gaiman is dead, then it's okay to promote his stuff again because he can't benefit from it personally. So that's where we are. That's how my mind works, and that's what I will be doing. Again, you do not have to agree with anything I just said. Just keep in mind that what I decide to do with my own time is none of your business, just as what you decide to do with yours is none of mine. I encourage all of you to please not make hasty judgments on people that you only know from the internet or who you have some kind of parasocial relationship with. We are all just doing our best out here, and not everyone needs to have an opinion on every single thing that happens. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to reading.